our X factors for these NBA playoff teams. We're gonna do the East and the West. Obviously, let's start with the East. Let's start it in order. So let's start with the Cavs. I'll
Did
start.
you include the playing teams? Because
I
I
did
did.
include the playing teams. I did
Okay. All right.
because technically they could go to the playoffs. So yeah, I did.
All right.
So for the Cavs, my X factor is I think it's Darius Garland. I think Darius Garland is the X factor, and I think in their defense, I think Darius Garland the defense is the X factor. I think we haven't seen Darius Garland have really good playoff games, but since he's been so good this year with his passing, his scoring, his shooting, I think we could potentially get that. And if they could get what Darius Garland's doing in the regular season this year, the Cavs could almost win the championship in their defense. I know the defense isn't like how it was last year, but obviously you probably have defensive player of the year, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen. Their defense could step it up in the playoffs. That could help them win a championship. So my X factors is really Darius Garland, man, because I think Darius Garland, I hope he proves me wrong this year, at least in the playoffs.
Now when we say X factor, me personally, I don't think of the X factor as being the best player. I mean, the X factor can be the best player. Don't get me
Mm-hmm.
wrong, but I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the X factor is the person. It changed from series to series, but for the most part, the X factor is the person who is going to win you this game if they show up. And for the Cavs, mine is Evan Mobley.
Mm-hmm.
Evan Mobley, he has a new offensive game this year. So he stepped it up. So if he continues to step it up offensively and he continues to show up offensively, like we said, the Cavs can go far. I believe Darius Garland is gonna show up because Kenny Atkinson unlocked him. And he instills confidence in him. So I think Darius Garland will show up. But my only thing is, will Evan Mobley show up?
Mm-hmm.
That's my only thing.
Now that's a definitely a good X factor because Mobley last year in the at least in the semifinals he played pretty good at the center.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought like, man, we need to play Evan Mobley at the center, but he's still playing at the power forward. He's playing amazing. He'll probably win defensive player of the year, but that offensive game by Evan Mobley could definitely take them really far. So I definitely agree with Evan Mobley as the X factor, as an X factor for the Cavs. Shout out to the 6 people in the chat. Let's go to the Boston Celtics. Who is your X factor for the Celtics?
Porzingis. I said
Mm-hmm.
Porzingis is the X factor because Porzingis really didn't play, that playoff series, most of the playoffs last year. And this year, if he's healthy, I think they're gonna need him this year going into the playoffs because last year, I think teams are gonna be able to compete with them if they don't have Porzingis this year in the playoffs. Teams are gonna be able to compete with them better than they did last year. But if you add Porzingis, it's a new dynamic that you didn't see in the playoffs. So there's a chance, that their offense looks way different and their defense looks way different. Because even when Porzingis came back, they still have to integrate him in the offense. You know what I mean? But if he's fully healthy going into the playoffs, it's a different game. It's a different ball game now. It's a different team.
Yeah, I definitely have Porzingis, and also it kind of goes with Porzingis rim protection. We saw it
Mm-hmm.
yesterday. They don't have rim. They really don't have no rim protection outside of Porzingis because I still think when he's healthy, he's probably top 5, top 10 shot blocker in the NBA. He helps spread the floor with his mid post game, bro. He's probably bigger than everybody on the court. Obviously, maybe not Hartenstein, but if he could post up, say Chad, sometimes Hartenstein, that's a mismatch, and it helps spread the floor with them. But Porzingis defense means a lot, and especially if you got to go up against, say, the Knicks, the Bucks,
Mm-hmm.
Cavs, obviously, you gonna need that rim protection. Because you got a lot of guys like Donovan Mitchell driving to the hole, Jalen Brunson driving to the hole, Giannis. Obviously, it's Giannis, but at the end of the day, it's Giannis driving to the hole. You need that rim protection, and Porzingis is the key. And I do kind of agree with you saying they kind of basically need him this year more than they kind of need him last year. Because
Mm-hmm.
this team is not the same as last year. Still great, but they're just not the same team as last year. So they need him and also really just hitting threes. Like if they can't hit threes, they gonna lose. And I think if they hit their threes, they could probably win the whole thing. But it's really Porzingis. He's definitely a factor. The New York Knicks. My X factor is Cat. I feel like Cat. We last year against The Nuggets, he was okay, but against the Mavericks, he did not play good at all, bro. He didn't. He did not
Taking all
play.
them damn threes.
He did not play good at all, man. And I think this year with Cat as the second best or first best player, whatever, I think this helps the Knicks because last year it was really just Jalen Brunson, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we got another 20 and 13 guy on our team, I think the Knicks could potentially in their head think, hey, we could go win, we could go possibly win a championship. And also just the defense. The defense as it is just not as good as last year. They still don't have no rim protection, even though Mitchell Robinson is back. So it's really Cat and the defense. That's my X factor for the Knicks.
Mine's for the Knicks was Mikal Bridges. We know that Jalen Brunson and Cat are our two best players, and they're gonna give us what they do, every single night. But Mikal is my X factor because Mikal was brought there to be our third best player, and some nights your third best player is Josh Hart. Some nights your third best player is OG. Some nights your third best player is McBride. So I feel like in the playoffs, Mikal Bridges has to be their clear cut third best player. Every single night he has to be consistently scoring, consistently playing D, and consistently putting up stats. You can't have any stinkers. And because if Mikal Bridges is playing to the level that we all know he can play to, the Knicks will be a hard team to beat. They can give Boston some go if not Malik, Mikal Bridges plays how he's supposed to play. So that's my X factor.
The Milwaukee Bucks. What is your X factor for them?
Kuzma. Kuzma's my X factor. Kuzma just got over there. He replaced him with Middleton, and Middleton was a big piece for them in the playoffs. And so now that you have Kuzma, Kuzma has to pick up that slack that Chris Middleton had. So not only defending but scoring wise because they need him. Because outside of Dame and Giannis, who else is a scoring threat on that team? Nobody.
Nobody.
So they need Kuzma. That's their X factor.
Honestly, though, I didn't have a player, but I really just said the bench and the perimeter defense. If their perimeter defense is not up to par, they will get cooked and they could potentially be a first round exit. But honestly, it's really the bench. I feel like we need that. We need the supporting cast to bring it because we know what Giannis gonna do. We know what
Dame.
Dame gonna do. What is Bobby Porter gonna do when he comes back from suspension? What is Kyle Kuzma gonna do? What is the bench gonna do? Like AJ Green, Andre Jackson, if he does play, Gary Trent Jr. You need that supporting cast to help you in these playoff runs. We know what the star is gonna give us, but what is the supporting cast gonna give us? And I just don't like their defense. Really, it's kind of like how it was last year. They was getting cooked on the perimeter. They still getting cooked on the perimeter, bro. It's just not the same. And I think that's their X factor. But if their perimeter defense could be somewhat decent, Giannis could lead them to say a conference finals. But I
Hey,
like the
is
Kuzma though.
hey is saying Doc Rivers is an X factor? Is that
I
wild?
think I think that's not wild at all. Because we know what Doc Rivers is in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
He blows 3-1 leads, man. He hasn't done nothing since '08 when he was the coach for the Celtics. That's not wild. That's not wild at all. Doc Rivers definitely an X factor. Can you coach this team to the play? Can you coach this team to the playoffs? It probably get far. Because if you can't get us to say a conference finals, you ain't no better than Adrian Griffin. Because we could have probably
Yep.
did that with him. And we fired him
Yep.
after like 40 some games.
Mm-hmm.
He still get paid though. So I don't blame him. Um the Pacers, my X factor is Ben Mathurin. Ben
Mm.
Mathurin
That's
should
a
be
good one.
healthy. He should be
That's a good
healthy
one.
in the playoffs. He's he's probably there. He is their third. Honestly, you could argue he's their second best scorer on the team. Could argue it.
Mm-hmm.
Second, third best scorer on the team, man. He he's electric. He gets to the hole at will. Doesn't care. He gets the foul calls. If we could get that scoring punch from Ben Mathurin consistently this playoffs, the Pacers could be a tough out, and I think a lot of people are high on the Pacers. You know, Tyrese, man, that's my guy. But man, we
Yeah.
could get they could with Siakam, Tyrese, and Ben Mathurin. They still that team is good, man. That team is stacked, low key. They just don't got that
He still
superstar.
he still got Miles, Obi Toppin, hooping,
TJ
Ben
McConnell.
that what Ben Shepherd, he be out there playing hard D, good D.
They got a
Andrew
lot of good players.
Nemhart,
They got a
Aaron
lot of good.
Naismith.
They
Yeah.
got a lot of good players on that team, but I think Ben Mathurin, man, because he can give them that third consistent scoring option. They could be a tough out.
Mine was Tyrese. Man, mine was Tyrese because
Oh,
Tyrese has had a down. He's had a down year, bro. He's had a down year. He hasn't been playing that well.
he been hooping
So if
lately.
he, yeah, lately, but overall throughout the year, he's been inconsistent. He's been bad, low key. Um, Now, if this is the same Tyrese, that's been inconsistent all year, that's been bad all year, the Pacers are not going to go far at all. We need Tyrese to be a scorer this year. Because you can't just rely on Siakam and Ben, because Ben is kind of inconsistent too. Then Ben has not even been in the playoffs yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So him being the X Factor, that was a good one because it's like, what are you gonna do? But if Ben doesn't show up, we're gonna need Tyrese to show up. And so far this year, Tyrese has not shown up as he's supposed to, as we thought he was. We thought he was gonna take the next jump this year, but he didn't. So if Tyrese isn't scoring or if Tyrese isn't playing consistent, the Pacers is a first round exit. If we being honest,
I believe in my Pacers. The Detroit Pistons, your team. What's the X factor?
Jalen Duran. I think Jalen Duran is the X
Mm,
factor because
mm.
Jalen Duran gets in foul trouble a lot. He's a great rebounder. He can shot block. And he's athletic. And so him getting in foul trouble that messes with our paint defense because Isaiah Stewart is only like 6'8", 6'7", if 6'9". I don't know if he's really 6'9", but Jalen Duran, he's bigger than him. He's not big. He's bigger as far as height wise. He's like 6'10". He's like I say, he's athletic. He can shot block. He rebounds very well, and he's a lob threat for Cade. So if Jalen Duran's in foul trouble during the playoffs, that can hurt them because now they lose size. So yeah.
Uh, I really said another thing supporting cast, but I'm gonna go with Tobias Harris. Are we gonna
That's a great one. That's a great one. Because
Tobias
boy,
Harris? We thought at the beginning of the year, well, at least when they signed him, Tobias Harris, he doesn't have this pressure on Philly because he got this big contract. They asked him to drop 20 some points. He didn't do that in Philly. Now he comes to Detroit. And I don't think we expected him to drop 20, but we expected at least probably like, 18.
18,
He
yeah.
done that. Now, Tobias Harris probably has the most playoff experience on the team. Can he be that second consistent scorer to help K potentially be on an upset alert against, say, the Knicks, the Bucks, the Pacers? And if Tobias Harris could give them consistent play, they could upset somebody, man. I think Tobias
Yeah.
Harris, I'm going to say this. I think Tobias Harris will have a good playoff series. I'm
Hey,
saying this
low
now.
key, this my hot take. If they go against the Pacers, bro, they beating the Pacers.
Pacers been
They
whipping on
beating
them,
them.
though. They can't beat the Pacers, though. They can't beat
We'll
them.
see.
Pacers been beating them, though.
Playoffs is different.
If we ain't, yeah.
I'll say we seen the T Wolves. They smacked who they I think the Nuggets smacked them. They beat them 4-0 in
Yeah.
the regular season. And then the
No,
T
you
Wolves
talk.
won
You
that
will. You
series.
talk about the Suns. You talk about the Suns. So.
The Suns.
Yeah, you talk
So
about that. Pacers got their number, man. Pacers got their number. Hey, man, if they match up, we know who. We know when we do our playoff matches, we know who we pick it. Charles got the Pistons. I
mhm,
got Pacers. So we already
mhm.
know. We already know. The Hawks. My X factor for the Hawks is who else gonna score? Who is going to consistently score in the defense? Who is going to score for this team? Can we count on Dyson Daniels to give us a masterclass? Can we count on Karis LeVert to give us a masterclass off the bench? A Kongu? Like, there's no Jalen Johnson, like, no Bogdanovich now. Who else can consistently score on the Hawks where they can potentially host a playing series against the Orlando Magic? I mean, I'm just trying to figure out who else can consistently score on this basketball team. That's my X factor. And honestly, I really don't know who. I really don't know who can else go with Trey and say, I got 20 for you too, brother. I don't
Yeah,
know.
That wasn't my X factor was Dyson Daniels, but it was for the same reasons you said. Who's gonna be that next scorer? And the reason why I said Dyson Daniels because I feel like Dyson Daniels is their second best player. So
Mhm.
it's like a can Dyson Daniels step up and give me? I think he's averaging like 14, maybe 15. So can you jump your scoring up to 20? You know what I mean in the playoffs. So yeah, but I agree with you. That's the biggest X factor. Who's gonna be that next 20 point per game scorer? Because that's low key because they defense isn't bad, with Dyson Daniels, Risha Shea, and
Okongwu.
Okongwu. It's just what's that offense gonna look like? They ain't got another go-to scorer. So yeah, I agree with you.
Because I'm
There's a
looking at the
scoring
game
component.
yesterday. Like it's the Hornets, but Trey gave you 35. Cool. Kongu 7. Zachary Richey 8. This dude Guyton, but he only played 14 minutes 6. Dyson Daniels 10. Then everybody on the bench: George Niang 12, Karis LeVert 15, Terrence Mann 10, uh, Kavicic 11. Who else is consistently gonna score for them where they
Mhm.
can get to a play? And then hypothetically saying if they, I mean, they're gonna lose regardless. But if they had to go up against Boston. If they do win, they're gonna lose regardless. But who else gonna score to at least try to make the series competitive?
Nobody. Only person on that team that can create their own shot other than Trey is probably Karis LeVert. That's legit the only other person. Maybe Dyson Daniels, but yeah.
The Orlando Magic. Who is your X factor? What is your X factor?
I said everyone. That's bro. Who's gonna
What?
score for them
I
outside of
said
outside of Paulo and Franz, bro? If they lock down one of them, you lock down the whole team because can't nobody else score, bro. Who is legit? But if Jalen Suggs is hurt right now
he's
and he
gone.
doesn't
He's out
have
for the
a
season. He's out for the
oh
season.
yeah, he's out for the season. So you don't have you who's your third option? Cole Anthony? Don't get me
Gotta
wrong,
be.
I like Cole Anthony, but who's gonna give you that like you said with the Hawks? Who's gonna give you that next scoring punch, bro? Because that's what they've been missing all season was a score, another shooter. So who's gonna do that for them?
Because last game against the Rockets, they only scored 84 points.
That's terrible. If
And no
if you
one else
score
scored.
80,
Paulo gave you 25 and Franz gave you 15. No one else gave you more than 9.
bro, if you're in the current NBA, bro, scoring 85 points is atrocious. You need to be scoring at least 100 if you want to win.
Can I say no? Well, I had the same thing. I said who? I said who else can score? I said offense. Who else
Yeah,
can
bro.
score? Who else can score? But if I had to pick a player, probably be Cole Anthony, bro, because
Yeah,
he's
Cole
probably
Anthony be only
he
yeah.
he their third consistent scorer, man. He's the only other person that can get his own shot, can shoot the three, man. I would have said KCP, but man, he been so bad this year. He been trash, bro. Could have said Wendell Carter too, but man, he ain't been like that either. So
Low
I'm
key,
gonna
is
go with Cole
KCP the
Anthony.
worst free agency signing?
Oh yeah, he's up there with Paul
Worse than
George.
PG? I was just gonna say worse than PG.
I don't know Burston PG, but he right there. He don't PG don't clear him, but he right there.
Yeah.
He don't clear him, but he right there. They both bad, bro. But PG might be first, bro. He might be first with the money and like all that. He been bad, bro. He been bad, but basically what you said, bro. Who else can score? I just don't see who. I just don't know who else could score. And then Franz can he score it in the playoffs? Because obviously we saw it last year in Game 7. Paulo was killing, and if
Mhm.
anybody else would have played good in that Game 7, they probably would have won. Paulo was just
Mhm.
tired, and he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it by himself, and they lost that series. They could have won, but who else can score for that team, bro? That's the X factor. The Miami Heat, man. What's
For
your
the
X
Miami
factor?
Heat, I said Bam. I know earlier in the season, Bam was struggling to score, but as of late, he's been picked it up. So can you continuously give me that? In the playoffs now that Bam is gonna be the focal point. Him and Tyler are gonna be the focal points of the defensive scheme. So can you still give me 20 plus in the playoffs now that teams are keying on you more now that Jimmy's gone? So Bam is mine.
Oh, it's definitely Bam in his offense. Like
Mm-hmm.
yesterday against the Heat, against the Clippers in 35 minutes, he only gave me 6 points, 2 for 7. He can't attempt two for 7. He can't. I'm sorry. You can't.
Only
You have
7 shots. How many minutes
yes,
he played?
35 minutes.
Was he
Now
in
they
foul
got
trouble?
blown up. No, he only had 3 fouls,
I wonder if he picked up 2 quick ones.
but he still only
And
had three.
then
But they damn near got blown out though. So, but Tyler Hero
that's
played
terrible.
42. But it's still 3 fouls though. So it's like, come on,
You
bro.
can't only attempt 7 shots, bro, and you the second best player on that team, bro. If not
That's what I'm
first.
saying. That's what I'm saying. And Bam's offense, we've been talking about, man. You remember when we were going back to the Olympics? We was like, man, Bam taking all these threes, man. I hope it
Mm-hmm.
translates to the regular season. It didn't.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like that, at least in the beginning. He was not aggressive enough. Like, we should see at least Bam averaging like, I say 20 and 12 if we being honest. Probably like 4 or 5 or 6 because he's a good passer for a big. He's a good
Yeah.
passer, decent
Yeah.
passer. So it just hasn't been like that. So it's the key because I know what Tyler Hero gonna give me. I know what he gonna go hard. He gonna go out there and play hard. That's my favorite white boy. He'll go out there and play hard. Andrew Wiggins has played decent for them. Honestly, though, I would have said Terry Rozier. Terry Rozier sucks, bro. He's so
Yeah.
bad. He's so
Hey,
whack.
bro, that investigation might come out true, bro. I ain't gonna lie, he might be selling this year for some parlays, cause ain't no way, bro. Cause Terry
He's
Rozier on the Hornets was nice, and then as soon as he get to the Heat, you ass, like, come on,
he's
bro.
bro. You know that he getting paid 20 mil. When we was doing the things last week about the teams, I looked. I said, damn, Terry Rozier getting paid 20 mil. He sucks this year. He's terrible.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
now though it's Bam, man. Can Bam offense translate in the playoffs as say the number 2 guy on the team, man? That's what I'm wondering. And the final team we got is the Chicago Bulls. My X factor is Josh Giddey. Because Josh Giddey last year was terrible against the Mavericks. It was so bad that Mark Dagnall had to bench him because his offense wasn't good. He couldn't shoot. His defense was bad. Can Josh Giddey's offense, because Josh Giddey been hoping lately, he
Mm-hmm.
been hoping. So can Josh Giddey lead the Bulls to a play-in win and say against the Miami Heat? Can his offense and can his defense be good enough in his shooting? Can that translate into the playoffs? That's my X factor, Josh Giddey.
Yeah, that was a good one. I feel like with the Bulls, you can go with a bunch of players. But mine was Kobe White.
Mm.
Um, is Kobe White gonna consistently give you 20 plus tonight? Because they going like you said, got Josh Giddey, is he gonna give us the scoring punch that we need? And then you got Vucevic. I think Vucevic is gonna do what Vucevic has to do. You know, I'm not worried about Vucevic, but who else is gonna give you that next 20 points? Is that gonna be Kobe White? Is that gonna be Josh Giddey? Um, I don't
Montes
even it,
Ellis.
I don't even think he's ready yet for that.
I think
But
Patrick Williams
then
is hurt again.
yeah, he's hurt. Yeah,
Okay,
Patrick
okay.
Williams hurt.
Of course he is.
So yeah,
Uh,
mine is Kobe White. Is Kobe White is going to consider? You know, Kobe White is he's a volume shooter. He's really streaky. So are you going to show up in the playing game? Because I don't think they're going to make the first round at all. But are
you
you
think
going
they
to show
lose
up in
to
the
the
playing
Heat
game?
if they play him in the
Yeah,
play-in? You think they lose to the Heat?
yeah,
Hey, the
yeah.
Bulls, they just beat the Heat. What was it last week? They just beat them. So I don't think Vucevic played that game either. So, bro, the Heat suck. They're bad. They're a bad team.
The
That's
Bulls suck.
Yeah, the Bulls do
The
suck. What aren't the Bulls on like a 4-game winning streak about Trippin? Or did they just lose?
I think no, I think they is on like a 4 game win streak whole time. Either like 3 or 4 winning them.
They have a 3-game winning streak.
Yeah.
They only 2 games out of that play-in spot to host a home game in Chicago. Yeah, buddy, that ninth spot. But that's it for the East. Let's get to the West, man. Let's start with the OKC Thunder. What is your X factor for the Thunder?
Jalen Williams, J Dub. You know, I feel confident. You know, Shay's gonna do what Shay's gonna do. Hardenstein's gonna give me my double double. Chet's gonna give me my 13 to 15 with some blocks. So I know what they gonna do. But J Dub's our second option. You know, in some games J Dub takes games off. But in the playoffs, you can't take no games off, bro. I need you to consistently giving me 20 to 25 every single game. Um. So is J Dub gonna be that second scoring option that they need in the playoffs?
Mine is Chet. I've been said it. That spreading the floor, rebounding, defense, brim protection. He does all that, bro. That means everything to that team, bro. And if we could get what Chet was his rookie year into this playoffs, the Thunder could win. I'm so serious. I think they really could win. I'm not picking them, but they could win, man. Chet is a difference maker, and I have no problem with Jada, but Chet is a difference maker. He changes everything for the Thunder. And if he can just get it rolling like he did yesterday against the Celtics, it's gonna be a problem, man. And the
Mhm.
3-point shooting too. That's an X factor
It,
because they're
it
really not a good three. They're not really a good 3-point shooting team.
it's crazy how they offense work because low key all of them can eat in that offense. Legit, all of them can give you like 20 plus a night. I can in that offense, I can see Shea giving you 30 or having a 40-point game, and J Dub still having like 26, 27, and then Chet chipping in with 23, 24, 25.
Thunder are great, man. They're great.
Yeah.
The Denver Nuggets. I really said the bench, but I'm going to say with Jamal Murray. We just talked about it earlier, bro. Jamal Murray, when he get the clamps put on him, he useless. But I've
Hmm.
seen what Jamal Murray does in the playoffs. When he's in the playoffs, he does play pretty good. Hit some big shots, obviously against the Lakers. Play good that playoff series, going to the finals and stuff like that. But Jamal Murray, man, can he be consistent enough? Because last year he wasn't playing good. He was getting clipped and wasn't playing good last year. That's why they lost. If he could consistently go along with Jokic, because Jokic gonna eat regardless. He gonna eat regardless. But if Jamal Murray can play good and probably give you at least 25 points a night, the Nuggets have a chance of. I don't even want to use the word upset, but going far as some people might think. But it really just depends on Jamal Murray. Like he to me is the X factor for the Nuggets.
Yeah, that's a good one. Mine's between him and Russ. I
Mm.
think Russ is the X factor because Russ he has a lot of playoff experiences, but Russ makes some bonehead plays at times. And I feel like the way that this Nuggets team is constructed, they don't really have a chance to make mistakes. I'm not gonna say they have to play damn near perfect basketball, but if your closing lineup is Russ, Jamal, Porter, Gordon, and Jokic, Russ is gonna make some bonehead plays out there, and Russ be making bonehead plays at crucial points of the game too. So, um, can Russ play like a competent player? Is Russ gonna turn the ball over? Is Russ gonna effectively shoot the three? Is he? So mine's is Russ.
Last year in the playoffs, when he was on the Clippers, he played terrible in that series. He played bad. Like
Yeah.
he was bad in that series against the Mavericks. The Los Angeles Lakers. What is your X factor for them?
Austin Reeves.
Mm.
Um, is Austin Reeves, they've been saying, Austin Reeves is the third best option in the league. Is Austin Reeves gonna show up? Because this year, this is I mean, it's not a new, it's kind of a new role for him. But it's not because he's been the third option since he's been there. But they're gonna be looking for him to score more now. Because outside of Luca and Brian, like you said, they bench is terrible, and we need some bench production. So is Austin Reeves going to be that 18 to 20 point per game scorer, that third option that we going to need in the playoffs? Because they going to need Austin Reeves to score big in the playoffs if they want to make it far.
Oh yeah, I have the same thing. I have Austin Reeves in the 3-point shooting, but it's really Austin Reeves because once they double LeBron or Luca, there's gonna be times when they pass to you, and then you have to be the one that facilitate, uh, orchestrate the offense and stuff. And he's been good sometimes when he orchestrates the offense. He's been like an overall player on that team. He's averaging like 5 rebounds, 5 assists, something like that, almost close to 18 points. I think he's been really good, but how are you gonna be as the third best next to really Luca and LeBron instead of LeBron and
KD.
Anthony
Yeah.
Davis? Is like you said, it's the same role, but it is kind of different though. So how are you gonna be, especially when they go to a lineup when it's just say you and LeBron or you and Luca? How are you gonna
Hmm.
play? So it's really Austin Reeves, and I agree. Like Austin Reeves, I think he's gonna show up. I really think
I do
so, and
too. I do
I
too.
think I think like there's gonna be some games where all three of them score like 20 points at once. So
Mm.
it's definitely Austin Reeves. Like he's the X factor. The Memphis Grizzlies. My X factor is the rookies. Can the rookies step it up in the playoff setting? Zach Edey, Jalen Wells. Those really the only rookies that legit play. Can they step it up? This they're gonna be their first time in the playoff setting. The atmosphere is gonna be totally different. We know what Ja gonna be. We know what Desmond Bain, Jared Jackson, all of them. But can Zach Edey, Jalen Wells step it up in a playoff series? Because I know we gonna say Desmond Bain, Ja, and all them, but those guys might be the difference maker because they get legit minutes. They don't get like
Hmm.
10 minutes. They get legit minutes. So if they can step it up, man, Memphis can be a sleeper team, bro. And I like their rookies. We both like their rookies, so that's the X factor for me at least.
Mine's was Zach Edey.
The same
Because
thing.
like you said, they get those rookies, they get quality minutes and they both start. So with Jalen Wells, can you play good? Because most likely Jalen Wells is going to be guarding the best wing defender or the best offensive player on the opposing team, and then Bain will be probably guarding the second best perimeter player on their team. So is Jalen Wells going to actually, is his defense going to translate to the playoffs? I think he's averaging like 12 points. So like, are you still gonna give me at least what you average? You know what I mean? Because they still gonna need him to give you at least 10 to 12, 14, 15 points.
11.
So 11.
11.
So they still gonna need that in the playoffs. They still gonna need that. So is he still gonna play good D? And then with Zach Edey, in the playoffs, they're gonna need the rebound and they're gonna need the defense. But also, on the defensive end, he's gonna get picked on. They're gonna put him in pick and rolls a lot to see if he can actually guard these pick and rolls. Um, and if he can effectively, switch out onto the perimeter and guard those guards or wings or whatever the case may be. So yeah. And if Zach Edey can't do that, their defense is gonna be hard because he's a paint protector. So it's gonna be easy if he not playing in the game.
No one on the team yesterday had more than 6 rebounds, and that was Lamar Stevens in 12 minutes.
On the Grizzlies,
No one had more than 6 rebounds.
how
Yes.
many minutes Zach Edey play?
20. He only had 4.
What about Brandon Clark?
He had 4 in 19 minutes.
Who are they playing again?
They played the Jazz. The Jazz out rebounded them 60-39 and still lost.
The Jazz suck.
and they had 17 offensive rebounds to the Grizzlies 5 and still lost. So look at all those
Yeah,
second chance points y'all had.
yeah.
So yeah, rebound is gonna play a part. The shooting is Josh shooting gonna translate because he's not a good shooter. He's really not a good shooter.
No, I
So
mean
can
he's.
he?
I think his. I don't know what his percentage is, but look like eye test wise, his jumper looks better. Eye test wise.
Josh shooting 43% and threes. He's shooting 29%. That's his second lowest in his
Oh,
career.
he's shooting
And
29% from
and
three.
I really can't count last year because he only played 9 games. So really his lowest 29% from three.
Ooh,
Yeah,
ooh. I think that number gonna come up though.
I will hope.
I think that number gonna come up.
I hope. The Houston Rockets. What are the X factor for them?
I said Amin Thompson. I said Amin Thompson is your expert. Amin and Tyree Eason. Those two are your X factors because they are low key the anchors of your defense. And even though I know Amin's hurt right now, but he should be back before playoffs start. But if a man can continue to give you put the 15 and 10 that he's been giving you, and Tyree Eason giving you the production off the benches he's been giving you, the Nuggets are gonna be hard. They're gonna be hard to play with.
I said Jalen Green. I did have a Ben Thompson. I had the offense. The offense really isn't like their half court offense sucks. It's bad. But it's really Jalen Green. Can Jalen Green, who's been a 20 point per game scorer this year, Can he do this in the playoff series as the number one scoring option? You always say he athletic Jordan Clarkson. So
He is.
he's not though. He's not. But can he show it in the playoffs? And can he step his game up? Honestly, can all the young guys step their games up? Like there's
Yeah,
gonna be a
that's
different
what it really
atmosphere.
is.
It's gonna be a
Yeah.
different atmosphere. Could Jabari, Tari, man, Jalen Green, Sengun, can they all step it up? Because we seen Fred in the playoffs. We seen Dylan Brooks. You can say Jeff Green and Steven Adams. After that, everybody else ain't been to the playoffs. So can these young guys step it up in the playoff settings? And it's gonna be totally different. Ain't gonna be a lot of foul calls. It's gonna be rough. It's gonna be a hard fought battle, whoever they play. But really, Jalen Green, because he is like their best scorer, can he really
I
step
ain't
into
gonna,
the playoff setting?
I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't think he gonna show up this year. I
Wow,
don't
that's
think he gonna
crazy.
show up.
I mean, you don't
I
like him,
don't.
so
This
I
is.
kind of get it. I get it.
It's not
So
that I don't like him. I don't think he gonna show up because it's his first year in the playoffs. He's the number one scoring option. So all these defenses gonna be focused on him. And then, like you said, they're not gonna get a lot of foul calls. And Jalen Green's scrawny. So if he goes to the hole and those playoff fouls versus those regular season fouls, those are two different things. You know what I mean? And playoff basketball, that's a wear and tear on your body in itself. Like we've heard, what did Joel Embiid say after he made that? Was it that playoff run that he has to get his body back in better shape? So I can be ready for the playoffs. Shit, J Dub got bigger. He got bigger this year just so he can prepare himself for the playoffs. So it's like I don't think Jalen Green's gonna be ready for it yet. I don't think he's ready for it yet.
the Golden State Warriors, my X factor, it was Kaminga, but I'm gonna go with the same thing as the Rockets, the young guys. Can Moses Mooney, can Arapaz, can Kaminga, can they show up meaning? Because this is the first time they're gonna play some meaningful minutes. We think the Warriors are probably gonna make the playoffs now. They're really
Mm-hmm.
good, or at least win a playing game. So can Kaminga, Moody, AirPods and all them play meaningful minutes in a playoff series? We know what Steph gonna do. We know what Jimmy gonna do. Playoff Jimmy. Know what Draymond gonna do. Can those guys play meaning? Can they give me meaningful production on the Warriors? Because without them, they're not winning nothing. Steph and Jimmy can do everything they can, but if those young guys ain't showing up, they're not winning and also rebounding. But it's really just the young guys, man. If they could, I think they could do it. I think AirPod's been playing good lately. Kaminga just came back, so we'll know how he gonna be. Moses Mooney been playing good. We always talked about we needed Moses Mooney to get some tick. Now he gets some tick and playing decent. So can they play good in the playoffs setting, the young guys?
Mine's was rebounding. That's their X
Yeah,
factor.
I
Can they
agree.
rebound? Because when you get into the playoffs, most of these teams or most of the championship teams or teams that make it far are usually big teams. So going against your Jokic's and going against your Chet and Isaiah Hardenstein, are they going to be able to compete with those guys and rebound against those guys? Because they not the Utah Jazz. So if we out rebounding y'all 60-30, 9 times out of 10, them teams in the playoffs gonna lose, bro. So can they rebound? Can they effectively rebound and keep up with these bigger teams?
Well, people say Quentin Post. That's their big guy.
I didn't even hear about that man
That,
name until I saw him in the starting lineup, bro.
hey, that's what they said in the TikTok comments, bro. That's what they said in the TikTok comments. They got a 7-footer, man. He only
He's
averaged
7 foot. He
5 boards.
don't even look 7 foot. He's 7 foot.
He is 7. He's like 7 foot though.
Oh, he don't look 7. He look like he about like Dario Saric's height, like 6'9". That's who I thought it was at first. I
No,
said
he is
Dario
7 foot.
Saric
He's
back
7
on the
foot two. He's 7 foot 238. He
yeah.
averages he averages 8 points, 4 boards, and assists.
Mm, I don't know about that one.
Hey man, he's shooting 41% from three though. Gotta give him credit on that, man. Gotta give him credit. But the Minnesota Timberwolves, what is your X factor for them?
Julius Randle. I think everybody should agree with that. It's Julius Randle, like you said. Julius Randle has a bunch of stinkers in the playoffs, and now you're on a new team who offense doesn't. I mean, the offense has looked good of late, but throughout the whole season, it hasn't looked that good. So now we're in the playoffs. Are you gonna show up in the playoffs? This is your moment. You want a new contract. So this is your moment to show, I can still hoop and I don't put up play up stinkers. So is Julius Randle gonna actually show up this year in the playoffs?
Oh yeah, I do agree. Julius Randles, man, can he's been so good recently. Can his offense translate in the playoffs on this specific team? It probably can. If he can hit the three ball, get to the lane, he's a big dude. Always gonna go left. But if his offense can get it going, they could win. And also Jaden McDaniels. If we could get a Jaden McDaniels offensive masterclass in these playoffs, they're gonna be a tough out. And I'm gonna repeat it like I said last week. The Minnesota Timberwolves will be a tough out if we could get Jaden McDaniels offense. And his offense has been really good. I can say probably the past month or so. Like, because that's what I've always wanted. I wanted to see Jaden McDaniels offense rise up, and it has. So if
Hmm.
he can play good on offense, they gonna win, bro. They can do something. I ain't not win the whole thing, but they can do something, man. But so yeah, Jaden McDaniels offense and Julius Randle. Can he not have some stinkers? The Los Angeles Clippers.
Uh, I said Norman Powell. Norman Powell, I feel like is their X factor because he was playing at an All Star level this year. He got snubbed, but he got injured.
Yeah.
And so now he's been injured for a little while. I don't even think he's back yet, is he?
Man, that man came back against the Lakers and hurt his hamstring. Ain't been back since.
Yeah. So is when Norman Powell comes back, is he still gonna give you that 20 plus per game? I think he's scoring like 24, 25.
Yeah.
Is he gonna give you that in the playoffs? So yeah, I think Norman Powell is their X factor.
Honestly though, I mean I had Kawhi Leonard. But it's really that holds. If we being honest, it could be Kawhi, James Harden, bro. James Harden does show up in the big games, bro. Like he can show up in games 1 and 2, but then when we need him in the closeout games, he doesn't do any. He plays bad. Like that's just the truth. He plays really bad. And if we could get what James Harden, bro, James Harden, like recently, bro, James Harden been hooping. Look, James Harden, 24, 8 and 11, 25, 4 and 17, 29, 9 and 11, 27, 3 and 7, 55 and 6, 21, 6 and 15, 30. Well, this last game don't mean nothing. 13, 2 and 8, whatever. But he's averaging 27, 5 boards and 10 assists in the March. If we could get that type of James Harden in a consistent playoff series, bro, you've always said it this year. They could be a
Yeah,
dark horse
first.
because we know what James
Yep.
Harden could be. And Kawhi Leonard, Kawhi Leonard hasn't been healthy the last couple of playoffs. He just hasn't. And they need him to win. Without him, they ain't winning nothing regardless. But
Yeah,
they
they're not
need
winning nothing.
him anyway. But James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, and Norman Powell, that whole team is the X factor because everybody don't play or don't show up in the playoffs. Been
Mm.
hooping. James Harden been hooping. The Sacramento Kings. I said Sabonis. I don't think Sabonis has really played good. Like, and I know he made the playoffs when they faced against the Warriors, but he was not good in that playoff series. He was getting beat down by Draymond. No offense, he kind of did, but you know what I mean. Draymond
Mm.
Green was bullying him, man, and his defense really ain't the best. His offense though, he's been good, but can Sabonis give us this double offensive production that he's been doing all year round? And he's been shooting the three ball really good this year. Give him credit on that. But Sabonis, he is the best player on that team now with no Fox. So can he step it up? Obviously, can Zach LaVine step it up in the playoffs? Can DeRozan? Can all of them? But it's really Sabonis. Can he step it up in the playoffs as the guy?
Yeah, mine was Zach Levine. I'm pretty confident that Sabonis is gonna do what he has to do. I mean, Sabonis is not our number one. He's our best player, but he's not our number one scoring option. So I'm not really like worried about that aspect of it. Because I know he's gonna give us our double double every night. That's what Sabonis does. I know he's gonna give us at least five, 6 assists. But can Zach Levine? Because Zach Levine's been playing really good lately. And in order for the Kings to even make some noise or try to be a tough out, Zach Levine and DeMar DeRozan, they have to score the basketball. Zach Levine cannot be inconsistent. He can't have any off nights. He can't go 6 for 26. He can't do any of that. He has to, I wouldn't say play perfect, but he has to play consistently during the playoffs. So my X factor is Zach Levine. Can he play consistent during these playoffs? Because we know he can go off for 30, 40, maybe 50 any given night, when he wants to, but is he going to consistently give us the scoring punch that we need?
Can they beat the Suns?
Yeah, they could beat the Suns. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I put the Mavericks on here, but I don't think they're making it, so I didn't even write anything for them.
I had the Suns.
I
I
had
put
the
the
Suns too.
Suns.
I put the Suns, but
Yeah,
not the Mavericks. I don't even think they're making it.
yeah.
So that's the last team, the Phoenix Suns. X Factor Bradley
Up.
Beal.
Yep. Bradley Beal.
It's Bradley Beal, bro. We saw it last year when it was really Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and they still got swept. And Bradley Beal, they brought you over here to be another 20-point per game scorer. Now you guys have honestly a second life now with the Mavericks injury woes. Y'all can make the play in and potentially go in the first round, maybe against OKC or something. But can Bradley Beal give me a consistent, probably 18 points per game? Because he really didn't do that last year in the playoffs. So I think it's Bradley Beal, man. Bradley Beal is the key, at least to get in the playoffs. He's the key.
And it's crazy because they was low key getting smacked by the Rockets last night, and then
Oh,
they
they
end
was
up
getting
coming
smacked.
back, or whatever like that. But my thing is, they got a second life with the Mavericks, with all these injuries. But to be honest, they still look bad. You know what I mean? Like y'all got new life in y'all, so you think that team will be rejuvenated and ready to fight and play, every single game. But they low key still suck. They to be honest, it don't even look like they want to be out there no more. I don't know if it's because
I
they
think
not gelling with Mike Budenholzer or what. I don't know what it is, bro. Because that team should be better than the 11th seed or 10th seed, bro.
I think they're over it, bro. I think they just want the season to be over. I think they're over it.
But yeah,
It's
Miles
not.
is Bradley Beal too. Is
It's
he gonna
it's
is he gonna do what he's supposed to?
it's not working out really. They're not gelling. It was a whole bunch of stuff we got because you had the Bradley Beal. They wanted to flip him. Then you had the Kevin
Mm-hmm.
Durant. They was gonna flip him, but he said, "No, I'm good." It's just been a whole bunch of drama, and they just like you said, they suck. It's been drama, bro, and I think they're over it. I think they just ready to go home.
Yeah.
Honestly, like a team with them three should not be 30 and 36. I'm sorry,
No,
bro.
it
It
shouldn't.
shouldn't.
It
It
shouldn't.
shouldn't be. It shouldn't, bro. They're better than that, but I mean, they beat the Mavericks the other day, so you gained the game up with them, but then you just lost yesterday. Like, what are we doing? You
Yep.
guys need to win games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you guys have in their schedule. Don't get. We're done with this topic, but look at this. This the rest of March. They face the Kings.
Mm-hmm.
They face the Kings, the Lakers, the Raptors, the Bulls, the Cavs, the Bucks, the
That's gonna
Celtics,
be a
the
tough one.
Timberwolves, and the
Mhm.
Rockets. Look at that 5 game stretch at the bottom.
Yeah, that 5 game
And
stretch
they
to
probably
end
won't
March
win
is
none of
crazy.
them.
That 5 game stretch to end March is ridiculous. They gonna literally have to win every game before that. If they don't win out, if they don't win at least 2 or 3 of them games, that's a shame, G.
Then in April, they got the Bucks, the Celtics, the Knicks, the Warriors, the Thunder, the Spurs, and the Kings. This schedule don't get no better. If
Yeah.
I had to look, they probably got. I can honestly say probably top 5 hardest schedule in the league. Honestly, bro, look at the teams I just named.
Mm-hmm.
They're bad. They're terrible.